This is 𝗧𝗏𝗡 in Chicago, and you're watching my channel, Knowledge for Quality of Life. Friends, I welcome to those who have recently joined the channel, and I request everyone to participate in giving feedback, comments, questions. And if you like the information which I share here based on my life experiences and scientific literature, please share with others to improve their quality of life. Last week, I was with my primary care doctor for annual physical, and he was questioning me during the discussion that, how I was managed to lowered my small LDL-P and, improve the quality of the lipids over time. Was I using anything and, any nutraceuticals or anything? I said that properly. I mentioned to him that, lifestyle and, diet, and most importantly, the major breakthrough I received when I started using the high polyphenol content olive oil. And he was very curious in asking questions, and I was sharing with him some scientific literature on my cell phone. And I thought that I'm going to share with you as well today. So this is the topic of my vlog, because you may have heard from me over time that, I'm a vivid user of extra virgin olive oil. You may have heard many times from me that high polyphenol content olive oil. So I thought today that I'm going to share some literature and evidence so that people who have a little bit doubts that, on what grounds I'm saying this thing, I'm sharing with you this information so they can appreciate more, because, there's a scientific evidence out there and there's a ton of literature out there. And I'm going to share two papers under the description. I'm not going to go into the detail of each and everything because of the duration of the vlog, but I'm going to just highlight some of the gist and salient points with you that how high polyphenol content olive oil can improve the quality of not only your lipids as far as the cardiovascular risk is concerned, but it can improve the cancer risk as well. It can improve your neuroprotective nature of the brain as well. And it brings a lot of abundance provided you use with the right protocol and right oil. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. So what you see here, this is the gist of the those two papers. One paper is from UC Davis, University of California at Davis. They have a olive oil institute over there, and they do tremendous amount of research in that institute and at University of California at Davis. And that paper I'm going to include under the description. And there's another paper which is part of the randomized trial, double-blinded randomized trial, and it's coming from Nutrition Journal from PubMed. And it's a part of the National Institute of Health. So those two papers I'm going to include under the description, and I try to make a gist out of those two papers that what it entails basically. And today we are looking at only the cardiovascular benefit. So this is, I created a summary sheet for you to appreciate that what it can do. So when you read the paper, you'll see that there are two acronyms they use: LPCOO, low polyphenol content olive oil, and HPCOO, high polyphenol content olive oil. As we said in the past, that what you pay, that's what you get. And there's tremendous amount of olive oil out there, some cheap quality olive oil, which is pumice oil, which is not loaded with high polyphenols. And then if you go towards the high polyphenol contents, you have to pay the premium and for the benefits which you are going to read. So this summary highlights, sometimes if you use low polyphenol content olive oil, the quality of the lipids can be worsened. It can give you a worse outcome. So it compares both, and this reduction in the lipid information, which I'm going to be sharing here as a bullet points here. It's based on the high polyphenol content olive oil, means HPCOO. Okay, so the key insights are polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil, which acronym is EVO. extra virgin olive oil drive cardiovascular benefits. High polyphenol olive oil improves LDL quality, not just the quantity. It doesn't lower your LDL, it doesn't lower your OX LDL, but it improves the quality of the, increases the particle size over time, provided you use with the right protocol. And I'm going to share with you what I do, over the time, what I've been doing, and what I do as part of my diet as well. Key findings: it lowers your ApoB. The downward arrow means it reduces your ApoB. ApoB is a conglomerate of all the LDL particles, including your VLDL, your small LDL-P, all the LDL particles as well. It reduces your overall LDL particle, total number of particles, and it reduces your small LDL-P, which are very atherogenic in nature. And it reduces your LDL oxidation. So there's a special test which I do as part of my annual physical in my lipid panel, OX LDL. How much oxidized LDL you have in your blood. Okay, and extra virgin olive oil with high polyphenol content will lower your oxidation rate, so your OX LDL will go down over time, provided with the right protocol. Low polyphenol oils may worsen these markers, as I said earlier. Why it matters? Small LDL, small dense LDL, and oxidized LDL are more atherogenic in nature because it forms the part of the atherogenic plaque, atherosclerotic plaque, and it builds the plaque over time. The plaque progression goes high if these are not controlled. Okay, reducing these lowers plaque formation risk as well. Now remember that statin drug is going to lower your LDL-C, LDL cholesterol. It's not going to have that much impact on the particle size because that is completely dependent on particle size, and your triglyceride, and your HDL is based on what you eat as your diet. Okay, that's driven by the lifestyle, and you have full control over it, provided you do your due diligence. Okay, ApoB reflects total atherogenic particles. It includes everything. Mechanism: antioxidant effect reduces your LDL oxidation. The antioxidants present in the extra virgin olive oil with high polyphenol content, like oleoporine and hydroxytyrosol, it reduces your oxidation over time, and improves your metabolism and clearance rate. Clearance rate means, because they say that, the researchers say that, extra virgin olive oil with high polyphenol content is the only diet which improves your HDL over time. And when you have a good amount of HDL in your system, it's going to do the clearance. Whatever the remnant cholesterol is left over after the consumption by the cellular mechanism, it's going to bring your LDL back to the liver for recycling. So the good amount of HDL has to be there for better recycling of your remnant LDL. And it reduces the inflammation over time, because you remember that inflammation and oxidation, these are the two elements which, are very crucial in atherosclerosis, okay, the plaque formation. Because first you have to have an inflammation to have these, lesions in the lining of your endothelial lining, and that's where the whole game plan starts. Cardio IQ markers: ApoB decreases, it lowers the risk. LDL-P, total LDL-P, including the small LDL-P, decreases, which also lowers the risk. Oxidized LDL improves. It means that, over time you will see your oxidized LDL particles going down, okay, provided you are using the right olive oil and you are doing the other preventative measures as well in your diet. HDL function improves. As I said, that it's going to improve your recycling of the remnant LDL. Practical use high quality extra virgin olive oil. Of course, that's very crucial. Look for fresh harvest, peppery taste, and dark glass bottle. The more peppery taste you feel in the back of your throat, it means that it has very good amount of polyphenol contents. That polyphenols makes it bittery and peppery taste and feels a tinge in the back of your throat. Consume 2 tablespoons daily. That was the part of the randomized control trial. So 1 tablespoon is 14 gram of fat. Remember that. And mostly it's a MUFA, monounsaturated fat. And to some extent, it has PUFA, polyunsaturated fat, but no saturated fat at all. So basically, olive oil is based on mostly MUFA. Okay, so 1 tablespoon is 14 gram of fat. So if you have 2 tablespoon consumption, just a raw, in the form of salads, or just drinking a shot of 2 tablespoon, that means that you're consuming 28 grams of fat, which is good, provided you are depriving yourself from the carb source. Okay, and I'm going to come to you a little bit in this protocol in a bit. Best used when raw or with low heat cooking. Okay, our extra virgin olive oil has a flash point of about 350 degrees, around that temperature, and we don't cook normally anywhere close to that. So I used raw, I used in cooking as well, but my extra virgin olive oil is very high polyphenol content. So I'm getting polyphenols in abundance. Okay, so let me share my screen here. I will caution one thing here for those folks who are consuming the extra virgin olive oil, along with they are also using the carb and sugars as well. So what's going to happen? It can be detrimental to your health in a way that you are using the extra virgin olive oil and you are using a lot of carb, a lot of fats, like good fats, like avocado and all that. But at the same time, you are using the carb source like banana, a lot of sugary things, a lot of refined flours. So you are taking basically the carb source and you are taking the fat source. The body is going to consume first when you are going to burn the calories, when you work, when you perform some exercises. Body is going to burn first the carb source, and these fat sources are going to remain intact in your fat globules. Okay, so rather than losing the weight, it can be detrimental that you may increase your weight over time. Okay, and it's when you are consuming the carb source, remember that your triglyceride is dependent on your carbohydrates, okay, and sugar, and your all refined carbs. So when your TG goes up, your triglyceride goes up because of this carb source, your small LDL-P is going to go up, okay, your VLDL is going to go up, your HDL is going to go down. So all the benefits which you should be seeing through high polyphenol content olive oil, it's going to be probably nullifying. Okay, so you are wasting your money for no reason. Okay, so be mindful of that how you are using. That's why I was always telling you that under what protocol you are using extra virgin olive oil, because you want to see the benefit out of it. Okay, you don't want to nullify the effect of the extra virgin olive oil with high polyphenol content. So I hope you get this message clear. And if you have any questions, comments, please include in your comment section, and I'll try to respond in timely manner. Until then, see you next week. Bye.